The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
If you're building or buying or selling a home, the Real Estate Crew's got news for you at the Real Estate House Party.
With attorney Rick Carter,
Real Estate House Party.
paralegal Kathy Holtshouser,
Real Estate House Party. Come in, have fun.
and comedian Tony V. Now, here's real estate attorney Rick Carter.
Welcome and thanks for joining us today on the Real Estate House Party. We got Kathy Holtshouser, paralegal extraordinaire, and
filling in for Tony V today.
filling in Tony V, and Rick Nazzaro from Colonial Manor Realty. So your first
Hey.
joke would have to be about Colonial Manor Realty.
No, enough,
Makes sense.
Kathy, about the funeral home jokes.
Oh, you know what a friend of mine, you know what a friend told me? I think he really thinks about this. Sorry to digress already off of the real estate, but he lost about 35 pounds. George Ravanis, Frank's Steakhouse.
Oh, he lost 35 pounds?
He looks
Good for
very good.
him.
And I said, "You look very good." He goes, "Yeah, I'm getting my funeral pictures ready."
It's never
So-
What does that
soon.
mean? I've
It
never heard
means-
of that.
You know how
I
they have
know.
all the pictures around you about yourself when you die?
Oh, yeah.
So he wants the family to start taking more pictures of now that he's lost 35.
Oh,
So
all
he
right.
actually has funeral.
See, at least he's planning
he's
for the
planning
future.
for
Yeah.
his head. I don't know.
It's in a little vein, maybe.
Maybe we
Vain,
should
it's
send
morbid.
Caitlin.
It's morbid.
We should send Caitlin, my daughter, over.
You always
She's tough
segue
with
into
things.
some sort of Holtshouser enterprise. Good for you. Good for you. So we got Rick Nazzaro here
Yes,
today. You've been
thank
away
you
for a long time.
Well, and
everyone
it's
in the
not
studio
your
audience
fault.
was asking. Yeah,
I know, but you have invited
I have
me
invited
on
you
numerous
on.
occasions, but
But you've been
I
busy.
haven't been able
You've
to-
also been in Florida. Should
Are
we even
you
talk
like
about that?
number one real estate agent in Reading?
yeah, most of the time.
Yeah, your numbers are up.
My numbers are
So
up.
he's busy selling houses. He has no time for
I'm
this
good.
these shenanigans.
And then I did take a little time off. Like people say,
Like 4 months.
No, like 6 weeks. Who goes to Florida in the summer?
Right. You do. But you enjoyed every
Well,
minute of
reason being, my wife and I built a house recently.
You did?
in Naples.
it. Okay.
And
I love
we
Naples.
wanted to experience it because we rent it during the winter. So
Right.
we said, "What the heck?"
So you built a brand new house.
brand new house.
He doesn't. It could be 105 degrees down there. He could either go into his air-conditioned brand new house, or he could
My
go in
beautiful
his
pool.
beautiful pool with
Do you
the
have a pool?
lanai
Yes,
You
so,
do.
Rick,
right outside his
so you
door.
open the doors.
I know, okay.
You walk right out to your lanai, and
Oh.
the pool is right
Yeah.
there.
Oh,
It's
you're
really
killing
And
me.
it's private, right?
It's private.
So it
it's
doesn't
very
matter if it's
resort.
110 degrees out.
Right.
No, I'll
Oh.
tell you. It's like the first day with the new toy. So we were in the pool a lot.
Yeah?
So we wanted it hot, actually, because
Right.
we wanted it.
Now, did you have any trepidation building a house down in Florida where you could not oversee much of it?
Well,
How was it building a new house?
It did occur to me, but we went a few times, but
Yeah.
it was like a 6-month.
But they know what they're
process.
doing.
They know what they're doing. We had people there that would look for.
Yeah.
We had
Yeah.
somebody that would go. The builder would send us pictures, so the communication was pretty good.
Right.
All right, so what are the
It
all
worked
right,
out well.
What are the top three we didn't plan on talking about this,
No.
but what
No,
are the
but
top three features?
As usual, you're just off the rails already.
What are the top three features you put in your new construction house that you're glad you did it?
The lanai.
Well, that is a good question because we went with a lot of extras,
Okay.
and I think it takes an okay house to sort of over the
Oh,
top.
the extras are the best. So what is
Yeah.
the number one extra that you got?
I think our flooring. It sounds odd, but a lot of the flooring they offered was sort of that.
The
the
laminate.
laminates or tile that looks like wood. You've seen that now.
Yeah. What'd you go with?
And we went with an oversized because it's open. So from the foyer to the living, dining, kitchen is all open, giant space. So we went with I think it's a 24 by 24 tile. It's a shiny. It has a high gloss to it. It's like a light beige off. So when you open the door, you see this shiny, beautiful.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
so
gorgeous.
pretty fancy.
And I'll tell you,
right?
everybody that's come in says,
That,
"Oh my
that
God,
makes it.
this house! It makes the house."
But if you had a small space, that would not work in a small space because of the size of the tile, right?
So it worked in the large
big
space.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's number one.
Okay.
The appliances in the kitchen. There's a beautiful kitchen.
You went with the upgrades.
We went with the upgrades, and when we look at other people's kitchens in the development,
Yeah.
you can tell, like, if you just roll in a refrigerator
Yeah.
versus the built-in,
yeah,
whole thing.
Sub-Zero.
It's just, I mean, it's a big upgrade,
Yeah.
but to us, even visually, it just
and the nice
buttons
stove.
everything out.
Well, didn't you say you extended those to the ceiling?
Yeah, so our cabinets, we went higher over the cooktop. Instead of
That
like
is a
just,
sharper image. Yeah.
instead of just the hood with the couple,
Yeah.
we went with the stainless hood that goes
Yeah.
up and
Impressive. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just looks because they're 10-foot ceilings.
Yeah,
So when you
yeah.
put that kind of a hood, you really notice it because
Yeah.
because of the
So
height.
that was number 2. Give us a third one.
Number 3, I would say, Kat, we knew we were going to have a pool and a lanai and all this, but we went like with a better type flooring. If you outside, we went with, it looks like almost like a cobblestone.
Pretty.
A nod to Boston, And then the pool, we went a little bigger, better steps, a little waterfall, instead of just
It's killing
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
So again, those little, if you can do it, to me, if you spend 10,000 in extras, it feels like 100,000. You know what I mean? It just really makes it.
Now, there's probably nothing
Great.
you want to. Sounds like it's a perfect house. What are a couple things you would have changed in retrospect?
I probably, truthfully, I wouldn't. I don't
Okay,
think
that's
there is.
fair. No, that's fair enough.
We love every corner.
Well,
We
you
picked everything.
Well,
Tell
your-
everyone
your
your
wife-
wife.
your
Right.
wife
Your wife
is-
has
Well,
a,
my wife is
Interior.
by profession is an interior
Right,
designer.
right.
Right. So of course you guys.
so between the two of you, both had good eyes for
between
it.
we do have good eyes, and between us, and then what she really did, which was amazing, is she had all the furniture, the drapes made, the shutter guy, everything was done so that as soon as we closed, she shipped everything down,
Yeah.
and in 10 days, she went with a friend,
Yeah.
and they put the whole house together.
Right.
Because we closed
In between glasses of wine.
Yeah,
right?
oh, yeah,
I'm
they
sure
had
they had
fun.
some fun.
We
Not even
closed-
in between.
We closed in November. We went for Christmas, and we had a tenant in January. So that's
Right.
how fast
That's
she
nice.
put it together.
That's nice.
So, yeah, we love it though.
That's
Thank you
great.
for asking. Yeah.
No, you're right. And you also did it. I heard rumors that you did through a 1031 exchange. We actually did the little bit at our seminar the other day.
Yeah, that guy. What was his name?
Bill.
Fortunario.
No.
No, Lopieri.
Loprieri. I was thinking
Yeah.
we had another one.
He
lined
works
up.
at First American, and
Yeah.
a lot of people don't understand what a 1031 exchange is, including real estate agents and paralegals and lawyers sometimes. So he actually kind of dumbed it down. We've had him before, and everybody's eyes were glazed over
So we know
when
which
he was
questions
done.
to ask him this time.
So he dumbed it down to a very basic 1031 exchange, which was really interesting. So if anybody out there is interested in a 1031, give Rick Carter a call because he knows all about it.
Yeah. Well, I was happy to meet him because, as Rick mentioned, I sold one property in Massachusetts, bought the Florida property, and I didn't know who to turn to. So of course I called Rick Carter, and So Rick is the attorney, but he turned me on because you have to go to a different company.
It's an intermediary.
They actually hold your funds and all of this.
Because that's one big thing. You can't get.
Because they don't
you
trust.
Can't get, you
they
can't
don't.
get. Yeah, you
they don't
can't
trust
get.
that Rick Nazzaro is
Right.
going to take his.
No, you
net
can't even
proceeds.
get that check in your name at the closing.
Yeah, you can't.
It's got to go to that third party.
Oh, right.
intermediary.
Yeah, I forgot that detail. But when you had hooked me up with Bill, he was fantastic.
He's good.
And he actually works at First American, but he is a he's also an intermediary.
He's the intermediary.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the key things, and we won't bore everyone or go over the details, 'cause it is very specific, but you have to have 3 houses identified within X amount of days of your closing.
about 45
and then you got to
days.
close within about 180 days.
And it has to be one of those unidentified houses,
Right.
and it has to be a like exchange. Like if it's
rental for rental.
Although that was interesting, you talked about that. Everyone used to think, including myself, everyone used to think it'd have to be the like kind exchange. So,
No.
if you owned a 2-family, you'd had to buy a 2-family, or if it
no,
just
but the point of like kind exchange, it means investment to investment.
Right.
You can't sell a primary residence and say
No,
I'm
right.
definitely
taking
can't
that
do a
money
primary residence.
and buying an investment. So it has to be a like kind. But it could be a rental unit on the beach, and then you could be buying a storefront.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or
long
something
as it's
industrial.
investment. Yeah,
Like you could be buying a garage, like an
Right.
auto mechanic garage.
Because I sold a townhouse in Massachusetts that I had rented for some years to buy a single family in Florida.
but
But you have to use it as a
but as an
rental.
investment.
Right. But it was the timing is critical.
Yep.
But I
Yeah.
think the main the main benefit that we haven't mentioned that maybe the audience isn't aware is that it's a tax.
Right.
Well, that's why you do it,
Right,
to
right.
avoid the capital gains on
You're
your
postponing it. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're postponing it
Right.
as long as you own that second
Right.
exchange.
And there is, I could be wrong, but I asked Bill at that luncheon
Yeah.
you had. I said, Bill, nice to meet you. I said, I said, let's say I sell the property in Florida. What happens? He said, you'll pay the capital gain from all of this. But he did say, if I never sell that and I leave it to my son, let's say,
Or favorite law office. But that's
favorite
a
law
I know.
separate-
I was gonna inject me into that.
right. So if
Wow.
if my son inherits that house, he doesn't have to pay the capital gains. What do they call it?
Basis?
His basis becomes the value of it the day that. Okay.
That it got exchanged.
No, that I died.
Date of death. Yeah.
So I'm not preaching avoid taxes, but in the end, truthfully,
But again,
you defer
it
it.
sounds like you are, and you're very happy
well, I'm
about
happy
this.
about it. But if you defer the taxes, but you never sell it,
It's
in
almost
the
like
end,
a permanent deferral.
It's a permanent deferral. And truthfully, this whole thing with the 1031 is how I was able to really go from A to B, because I had that extra fund. Whereas if I had sold that townhouse and paid
the
X
capital
amount,
gains, you would have lost some
You would have been
serious
short a
cash.
couple
I would have
100,000.
been short some money.
Right.
So it really is a good benefit that I don't think people take
Right.
advantage of enough.
Which, but the thing is that's saying that you have a will in place, or you have an heir that's
Right.
going to inherit that property.
Right.
But if you don't have a will in place, or you are on your second marriage, or there's
I'm sure there are complications.
there's-
Another reason to call an attorney.
well, that brings me to that thing. If you are doing a 1031 exchange, you better have your estate in order, right?
Yep.
If you want to truly benefit from it.
All right. So
How's that?
That's perfect.
Okay.
That's perfect. All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Rick Nazzaro. I have a listing.
Oh, jeez.
We
They
have-
don't show me any. Listen,
I have a listing.
I'll do what I
I
can.
feel like
that-
we've done this before, but
No. But I got it. I'm very impressed about this remarks on this listing.
Oh, that's my listing.
Oh, well, you just gave it away, but
Oh, I'm sorry.
so we have a listing. You don't have this, but I wanted to read the description to this property. After reading this, I want to go buy this. Unfortunately, it's under agreement.
I sold it. Quick.
But here it is. Yep.
hopefully we're doing the closing.
You are.
We are actually.
nice.
We are. Say yes to the address.
No, say yes to the address. It rhymes when you don't say yes. You can't say yes.
And also, you got to
Say
add on
yes to
too.
the address. Oh, sorry. Yes, say yes to the address.
And don't forget the exclamation point.
Right. That.
All right.
lot of
So
people
we're going to
start
talk
again.
all about this.
All right. Say it again.
No, you start. You go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Say yes to the address.
No,
In
gotta make it rhyme. Say yes to the address. That's
How's that?
Right?
Sound good?
That's the intention.
Okay.
with the exclamation point.
An outstanding opportunity is in front of you to call one of the town's most sought-after neighborhoods home.
Exclamation point.
Another one. This oversized colonial home has it all. From the moment you drive up, the impressive walk-up leads you to a grand and welcoming columned front porch. I mean, I want to buy this right away. It says, sit, stay a while.
Have
you-
a drink. No.
We're getting to that. When you come in, you'll be struck by the unique and thoughtful layout where the chef's kitchen is in the front of the house, while the informal dining room that will seat many is off to the back and leads to a more comfortable three-season porch, and then to the stunning yard and heated in-ground pool. The lofted two-car garage is detached, allowing for extra space inside, where you'll find a much-needed mudroom, as I love this part coming up, complete with a wet bar for kids to grab a water, sports drink, or snack on the way out to their big game. You will adore the open concept in the home, ideal for entertaining with ease or for everyday living, 4 updated baths, new heating, and more. This won't last. Ed Sullivan, do you want to buy this house right now?
I do. One question.
Go ahead.
If I don't have kids, does it come with them, or
Well,
We should talk about that, but
it's very interesting that you read this, because this house, that room with the sports drinks,
yeah?
when I was called into this house, if you picture a Colonial with this standard 2-car attached garage, okay, the seller had converted the garage into a home office and like an entry room, but the entry room had no identity. They had sort of odds and ends in it. It had a little wet bar,
A dumping ground.
with martini glasses. It had the dog bed. It was like a lovely space, cathedral ceiling.
Oh, so they weren't even utilizing it.
So when I'm in there, I'm like, now this house had been on the market with a different agent prior.
Oh, it was.
Oh, of
Didn't
course.
sell. I came in and restaged everything. So that room, I said to them, I stood there and I go, like,
What is this?
this room has no. Well, when we entertain, we make drinks. Now, meanwhile, the kitchen is here, the family room is here, the martini bar, get a passport, is in the other side of the house. Like, who does that, right?
Right.
So I stood there and I said, no. I said, you know what? Strip, take everything out. We're going to make this a mud room. It's a buzzword that young couples
Mud
love.
room's a great room.
They all want a mud room.
Mm-hmm.
It has side entrance, tiled floor, closet. I brought in a bench.
Yep.
We put the little boots.
Yep.
I put the baseball bat.
Oh, my. You're kidding me.
The book
In
bag.
the umbrella stand.
And then in this
And I know
weird-
this family. Their kids are in their 30s,
Right.
so I
and
know what
then
you're doing.
And then in this weird bar with the martini glasses, we took all that out and we put orange and blue Gatorade,
Yeah.
a basket with little chips,
Yeah.
Cheez-Its, this and that.
This is-
Stuff in the
this is
fridge.
good.
And do you know a family bought it? 2 kids who plays hockey, who plays.
Done.
They
Wow.
loved that
And
mud room.
and how much did that cost? Nothing.
Cost nothing. I brought
Right.
everything.
Right.
in.
So
I spent $40 at Stop and Shop to get the
Right.
drinks and stuff.
I've heard you talk to clients before and say, listen, you got a stage, which we all know, but then you say to them, you're not gonna like how it's staged. You're not staging for the seller.
Right.
You're obviously staging for
This
all the
particular seller loved it. She's like, "Why didn't you come while I lived here? Because the house looked beautiful."
and now it's sold.
It sold one weekend for over. I had 4 offers in one weekend.
Well, you know why it's sold, and I can tell you, because your first sentence rhymes.
Which you did.
Well, you didn't even know that. You did not know that. So stop it.
But it's isn't that interesting how that?
Yeah.
Because
Well, I think
you
what-
have to identify the space.
I
And
think what Rick is saying, the reason it sold
okay.
was because
I was kidding.
the whole thing rhymes.
Oh, well, let's go through. I
No, I
know
think that-
psychology. This is great.
No. I think what he's trying to say is the way you word a
Yeah.
description is
Well, it's
is
not a
going to get it
description. Now it's like a story.
right.
It's almost a visual. I'm visualizing my kids being all
you
in the.
create. I really am flattered that you mentioned it because a lot of people do say that that's one thing I can do.
Yeah.
My write-ups
Right.
tend to paint a picture.
It paints a picture. Exactly right.
You
I
know?
can vision this, like
Yeah.
the pool,
Yeah.
the neighborhood.
Well, you can see your enthusiasm for this property.
Well, and aside from that, I mentioned up front what some things, like I asked the seller, what did people not like the first time? Well, when we redid the kitchen, I put it in the front instead of some people felt like.
So you actually emphasize
I
that.
emphasized these
Yes.
things as a positive.
No, I agree.
And so when these people came, they knew what they were going to see. Whereas if I hadn't mentioned it, they'd come to the house and they'd go, "Oh, this is weird. The kitchen is
right
here."
But
Right,
you're
but they've
actually
already-
using it as a positive.
Right, you told them already.
I told them why it was done this way because the eating area goes out to the porch, then goes out to the pool.
Right.
Whereas if you had the eating area, kitchen, porch, pool, now you got to go through the dirty kitchen.
So now
to
you've
get to
already painted a picture.
I'm telling them why they need to like it because that's a good floor plan.
No, the
Right.
whole thing is I love the psychology.
Well, you're too nice, Rick.
No, really. I mean, the first thing, say yes. I mean, talk
say-
about
Say-
being positive.
Say yes.
Just say yes.
It's
Do you want to sign an
not
offer?
yes.
Not yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
I was sort of paraphrasing that TV show.
Yeah.
Say yes to the dress.
Yeah, you say yes to the dress.
Oh,
and-
okay, I'm
Oh, he doesn't know
sorry.
anything about that.
I know.
Yeah.
So
all right.
yes to the
Yeah.
address.
Yeah, right.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah,
Yes.
so it kind of came to mind.
Yeah,
like,
sorry,
from that vantage
You
point.
missed that.
Yeah, I missed
you
that
haven't
one.
said
All right.
yes to the dress.
Yeah.
No.
But just everything.
Not out in public.
Yeah, I know. I'll go home right after this.
The other thing, when this house we're on before, see, I don't know if you can see here, I list all the rooms, and then
Yep.
this is quite a full.
Yep.
When you fill out a listing on MLS, it gives you an option. So I say bedroom 10 by 12.
Yeah.
Then there's a click down, and it'll say like what type of flooring, what kind of closet, where is the recessed lighting, overhead lighting, is there a fan, what's the... You can check off as many of the things that apply.
You don't ever see that.
Most of the prior listing had room sizes with no comments here.
Right.
Which meant people didn't know, is it wall to wall? Is it hardwood? Is there lighting? Is there a closet? Is there exterior access? Can I get to it from the basement? You see, I filled the whole page.
Right.
My mission is I try to provide a listing information that so nobody has to ask a question. If they like the house, they can go right to buy it. Everything is right here.
Right.
But I also like that you don't put a lot of this up here because they can read all this stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I have never seen a listing like that.
Oh,
you know what I
really?
mean? Typically, you see like a
Takes a
master
little more time
bedroom,
to do it.
right? Master bedroom. You never see the flooring, and
But you don't. You
because
don't
if
put
there
it.
is hardwood floors in one room in that house, you'll see hardwood floors.
Right.
They won't say carpet, or do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you don't bore them with that information. Not that it bores them, but
This is the first thing they go to.
exactly.
Whether
And
it be
they can
on
figure out how
Zillow.
many rooms are in.
Right.
But this actually, as you say, paints a picture of
Yeah.
of the situation.
Yeah.
And grab a water, a sports drink, or a snack on their way out. You know what I mean? That's I think that's brilliant. I like it.
Good, thank you.
Yeah. No. And all right. So let's talk about some things that we shouldn't have in a listing agreement. This is where we're headed to here.
Oh, really?
Oh, all
Yeah.
right. I thought I appreciated all the positive.
No.
feedback.
But I wanted to show. So we have talked about some of these before, and but you want to be as positive as possible. You're right.
But it depends on the house. If it's a dump, I'm not the guy to call to flower it up and make
Right,
it.
right,
Because,
right.
again,
Right.
my goal is always to get the right people in.
Right.
If something's a shack, I'd rather have one right buyer come than 20 wrong
So how
buyers.
would you market a shack
or a dump.
or a dump?
Yeah,
you wouldn't say a fixer upper.
Well, I mean, there's those typical.
Yeah, but
things,
those don't work.
You know,
You know what? Everyone's
you
too
can just
savvy
say-
about
you
that
just-
now.
because you want to let them know that we know that it needs what it needs. So you might start with,
Don't say it's a diamond in the
you're not gonna
rough.
say that,
Let
but you
him
might
talk.
say priced for those with imagination and ideas of their own. Come on in and put those HGTV rooms that you love to use. I
Yeah.
mean, so you're letting them know they need to,
Right,
to do.
right.
and you
right.
can still put the pictures. Awful. I just had a house. I just had a house in another town that I
That he doesn't typically go to.
I don't.
But
So my photographer came and he was shocked because usually I'm like, doing karate chop on the pillows and everything, right?
Yeah.
You couldn't even. We didn't know if there was a dead body somewhere. But
it is what it is.
do you know I had 40 showings on that? It was a good street. 40 showings in 2 days. We
Wow.
had 6
All right.
offers. All the
right.
right people came.
Tell us how.
I said to the seller, you know what?
Your house
Usually
is a dump.
I come in and I say clean up. I mean, they were clothes over the railings.
Really?
Just there was no way
You
it was
didn't
going to
tell
be
them
clean,
to clean it?
because I knew it wasn't going to happen.
Okay.
I said, look, we're not looking for Bill and Susie first time buyer here.
Yeah.
Wrong
Looking
buyer.
for somebody that has a
We're looking for
flair.
somebody who can maybe pay cash, not have inspections, see the value in the lot, the street, the town, no aggravation. So I marketed it like, here it is.
right.
This is what it is. We had all the right people. What I get? Cash buyer, 50 over asking.
No.
Wow.
No home inspection.
Was he going to rip
Close
it down?
when you want. No. You know what? He could see beyond the stuff because when I show it, I sold it myself to a buyer. I said, picture the stuff out.
Yeah.
The walls
That's
aren't
hard,
bad.
though.
The walls aren't bad. The floors look pretty good. You change this. You're going to make money on this house.
So you
Great.
got them $50,000 over asking, and they didn't do one
now,
thing
if
to get ready.
if I had said, lovely split entry, and that it
Right.
wouldn't have been the right.
Yeah, because
Right.
then you're getting the first-time home buyer, and this isn't ready for that first-time home
Houses
buyer.
like that, I'd rather have people come and be pleasantly surprised because maybe I'll really undersell it. So when they come, they'll say, "Oh, it's not that bad."
Hey, do you ever have a situation where the seller is offended that you think their house is yucky?
I try to avoid offending anybody, but
I know.
I'm up front. I'll say to them, "Look, this is the approach. Don't take it personally. You've called me to sell your house. I have to package it in a way to get you the most money. And if you end with the phrase "most money,"
Okay. So you've mastered
this
the
guy
art.
said you could tell him my underwear is on the porch. I don't care. Do what you got to do.
That's right.
So that was fine. But generally, the older. I recently had a listing too that we just put under agreement yesterday. People lived there 50 years.
Right.
Immaculate. You could eat off the floor. Mm-hmm. But they hadn't changed a lamp,
Outdated,
a couch, a light fixture. They thought everything. The wife is like, look at my teacups and my Hummels and my pink velvet couch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I said to her, look, this is all beautiful. You have 4 sons that they're all now in their 50s.
Tell them to come get this stuff out of here.
You've gotten a lot of Mother's Day gifts over the years, and what a great mother. You've displayed them all. I said, the buyers today, less is more. So you got to move anyway. Let's pack up some stuff. And she said, fine. And I let her keep out what she wanted. It was fine.
Because we had another one of those in Reading. Very, same thing. There for 40, 50 years. You listed, and I went over, had her sign things, and she was one of these that refused to take down the religious artifacts and Italian heritage, and again had all her family and pictures, and So how do you get it?
Mary statues in every room.
So how do you get around? Yeah, it's just,
if you
she just didn't want to, and somehow
sometimes
you did sell
you
it.
have to just go with what they want to do, and if you can make little changes as their broker, I'm grateful for that. Not everybody is into doing all that, and if it's for religious stuff, I'll explain, today you have to be careful if people come in and they don't like your religious statue compared to theirs.
You lose a buyer.
And if you're okay with that, I said, maybe you'll get 10, 20, whatever. I don't know. But
it's almost down to a science now where you can't even pipe in certain music, because certain music might be offensive to,
Well, the house behind me has been for sale since, I think, like the end of May. And I went online just to check first of all, the photography is terrible. Like, there's a throw rug in the kitchen that's actually, like, crooked. And I'm thinking, why wouldn't they have fixed that? And there's packing boxes in every room. And I'm like, I know why it's not selling, but I heard the broker outside, when they were putting it on the market, and she said, I think that these back stairs need to be fixed, thinking maybe he's going to get an FHA buyer or something. He goes, there's nothing wrong with those stairs. Me and my grandchildren use them every day. I've never seen a grandchild over there or anything. You must be living in like a fantasy land. But the thing is, like, you may have been able to sell that house a lot more effectively than the broker that's listing it right now.
Right.
I'm not adverse to saying to some people, if you do everything I suggest, we're both going to enjoy tremendous success. My go-to is, look, I don't ski, I don't ride a horse, I can't paint. There's a lot of things there's more things I cannot do, and I'll say, this I can do.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
So if I'm telling you to get rid of your pitches and your hutch and your this and that, if you do it,
well, it's your experience, right?
9 out of 10 of them do it. I have one coming on next week. The wife's a hot ticket. She texted me. She goes, my house never looked better. You had all the right ideas. I'm exhausted. Have me sign now, because I'm sure I'm slipping in a coma any minute.
Nice.
So they were tired, because I usually say, here's the date. Let's have a date. This is when we're going to come on.
Give them their assignments?
Give them their assignments.
She's not the lady that said, call that Nazzaro guy?
No, not her yet.
Tell that story. I love it.
Yeah, but this one, she was so funny. She's like, we are so tired.
Except they don't want to move. Then I feel like some people do everything you tell them to do, and they probably don't want to sell their house.
Well, she's like, really? I lived with grapes on my wallpaper for the last 20 years. She goes, you come in and say, do it,
get rid of the grapes.
Paint it Revere Pewter, and all of a sudden I got a house that looks half decent. I've been living in this wallpaper. So people do comment why didn't I do this? This house that you read, it has the beautiful front porch, right?
Yeah.
The whole length of the house.
Yeah.
When I went, I said, oh, do you have furniture like for the front? She goes, no, we never put anything on not a planter. It looked like a bowling alley, right? I said, you don't put anything on the porch? She says, no. I said,
why not?
Why not? She says, we never thought of it. We don't even use that door. I said, you went to the trouble to build the porch
a big farmer's
with the
porch.
columns.
Yep.
I said, go on wait. I said, get me 4 chairs. 2 here, 2 here. I'll bring the little tables to put between. We put the mum. The porch looked like, she's like, we sat out here and had wine. I said, you did? She goes, my husband said, we never used half this house.
Right.
He puts 2 chairs. We're like living here. It made the whole difference.
Right.
I know this family. They've been there for about 25 years. Too,
Yeah.
and they never used it, huh?
No, never used it.
Tell us the lady. Call that Nazzaro
The
man.
Nazzaro story.
so,
Should we wrap up with this one?
Yeah.
I was flattered.
It's the Rick Nazzaro show.
I know, really. So I got a call, a week or 2 ago, to give a potential seller a price on her house. And when I answered the phone, she said, Nazzaro? I said, yes. I'd like you to come and look at my house. Okay. She says, I'm 100. I said, oh my. I said, wonderful. Happy birthday.
I'll come today.
I said, how you feeling? No, so we made an appointment, and sure enough, she let me in, and I actually brought her a little plant, Mom, because I said, I don't know when your birthday is, but I don't meet a lot of 100-year-old people. And so she was
Another
touched by
thoughtful
that.
gesture.
Yeah, so I thought, she was probably just happy to have company,
Right.
I could feel. And so she's showing me around the house, and in her kitchen, the house was kind of cluttered, if you will, was a box.
Jeez, give her a break. She's
No, I know,
100.
but the house
She has a lot of
actually
stuff.
a lot of stuff. She lived there 70 years.
Wow.
There was a box like with all her mail and paper, and so in the front of the box, tucked in, was it was like a long
Like a
piece of
banner.
paper that was maybe this wide but twice as long, and in huge black magic marker it said Nazzaro with my phone number. And I took a picture of it because actually she wasn't she said, I'll sit down and you look around the house. And I loved it, so I did take a picture of that, right? And so later, come to find out, she said, I can't see that well. And when my granddaughter was here, I said to her, look up that Nazzaro. Because she said to me, I told her, I always said, when I'm going to sell, I'm going to call that Nazzaro.
Well, she called you, all right.
So the granddaughter in like a huge Sharpie, so that she could see the numbers, and she called. I'm not Kathy. The numbers are each this big.
I know. I saw that. I love that story.
So I was like, oh my God, that's
an awesome story.
And that's when you're like, oh, it's such a moving is a big deal.
Right.
People don't realize the emotion behind it.
Of course.
You have to,
70 years at that
you
one
have to be-
location.
Yeah, and I felt bad. She was talking about her husband like he had just passed, and I said, oh, she had been widowed since she was about 40.
Oh my God. So
Wow.
60 years.
60 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Was his
Wow.
closet still full?
So I don't. So I said to her, I said, now I know the secret to why you live to be 100.
Yeah.
She says, oh, what do you mean? I said, you've had no husband to torture you all these years. I said, I know how it goes. I said, I see a lot of people. I said, when the husband dies, the wife cries for 2 minutes, then she's on a cruise.
Meeting
I
husband
said,
number 2.
The wife, they're on a cruise. They're going to Foxwood.
Bingo.
I said, the wife dies. Men, they're sitting in a corner reading yesterday's Herald for
Drinking
6 days.
Schlitz.
They do nothing. I said, you women got it all over. She's like, that could be true. I had no aggravation, she said, all these years.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, I think that thank you, Rick, because I think you brought some light to
I hope so.
how to advertise a house and
Thank
what
you.
what to look for when you're looking to buy a house.
We'll send in the picture of the 100-year-old lady with Nazzaro.
That's right.
Or you could call Rick.
All right.
What's your number?
I am 781-290-RICK 7425.
You got it before me.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us in the Real Estate House Party. Rick
Glad to
Nazzaro
be
from
here.
Colonial Manor Realty and the Real Estate Paralegal Extraordinaire. Kathy
Oh,
Holtshouser.
that's me.
There she is.
Who's been sitting in her office all day wondering how she can be self-sufficient without a job.
Yes.
But we'll talk about that next
Oh,
week.
next show.
Yeah, next show. Thanks for joining us.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.